Hey everybody, welcome again to another Star Trek Comic View. This is where everybody has gone before. I'm your host, the American Samurai, and we are talking about issue 45, The Return of Trelawney, who was a one-shot character from Star Trek and is retrospectively considered to be the first Q. And in this story, Q has returned and has changed his interest from war to romance. Why? Well, that's the interesting thing. This is a fill-in issue. Our usual writer has taken a week off. But we find out after the end of this issue, the next 3 issues are going to be part of a big 3-part epic. So that's why he's taking time off. Steve H. Wilson is our writer for this story, which returns to Trelawney. I believe has returned recently in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Remember, when we first meet Trelawney, we find out that he's just a kid. But he has aged in the last 20 years. And we find out that he's found out about Kirk's many conquests and wants to learn more about romance. Now, we're not sure why he's acting like this and why he's once again targeting Kirk and his crew. He still has some of his traits in the past. And he is still running away from something, as he's once again harassing Kirk and his crew. And even, I would suggest before you read this comic, I would definitely watch the episode of the original series where he shows up first, because there's some neat callbacks, some definite callbacks to that episode, as well as the movie. You see Trelawney's powers. And we find out there is something Trelawney's afraid of. And we actually do find out why he's been so interested in romance all this time and tormenting Kirk and crew. They figure out a plan of defeating him by sacrificing the ship. Her manages to lure out the other energy source. You find that, well, apparently there's another creature from the same life form of Trelawney's that has interest in him, a female, when it takes on a form similar to hers. Most likely, apparently that's what Trelawney's afraid of, is her. But the funny thing about this is, though Trelawney didn't plan it, he actually does do some good for Kirk by the end of the story, allowing Kirk to reunite with a lost love. So overall, a pretty good story. I give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely worth reading, and so I give Star Trek issue 45 from DC Comics a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and if you like the character Trelawney, definitely worth reading. Let me know if you've read any Star Trek DC Comics, and if you've read the 3-part story arc that follows this. Alright, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon for new. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Where Everybody Has Gone Before.